Welcome to The Explainer. You know, we're diving into this really powerful idea that was born from a pretty painful reality. The fact that most new products, well, they fail. But what if there was a way to stop that? To stop the colossal waste of time, money, and just pure passion? Well, there is. And it's a movement that's completely reshaping how we think about innovation.
Okay, so to really get this movement, we first have to wrap our heads around the problem it was designed to solve. And honestly, it's a huge global crisis of waste. I mean, you've seen it, right? Products launch with all this hype and then, poof, they're gone. Startups that burn super bright and then just burn out. But the real cost here, it's not just about the money.
And that's what gets to the heart of it. This is the real tragedy. Every single one of those failed products represents countless hours of dedication, creative energy, just poured into something that, in the end, nobody actually wanted. It's an unbelievable squandering of our most valuable resource, human potential.
So for decades, right, innovators have been basically trapped between two really bad options. On one side, you've got this super rigid rocket ship planning. We're talking detailed, long-term business plans, where even the tiniest little mistake in an early assumption can lead to a catastrophic failure way down the line. It's just too brittle. Then, on the other side, you have the total chaos of the just do it approach. This school of thought basically believes that if management is the problem, then hey, no management must be the solution. But that just leads to a ton of frantic motion without any real progress.
So, yeah, trapped between these two extremes, rigid plans and total chaos, a new way of thinking started to emerge. A totally new approach that treats innovation not as some wild gamble, but as a science, a rigorous process that you can actually learn, you can manage, and you can repeat.
And that brings us to the Lean Startup movement. Its mission? It's simple, but it's so profound. Improve the success rate of new products all over the world by giving us a new, scientific process for innovation. Really, it's all about stopping the waste by creating a framework to figure out what works and to do it way, way faster.
Now, here's a really key idea, the redefinition of the word entrepreneur. This is huge. It's not just a job title for some coder in a garage anymore. In this world, an entrepreneur is anyone working to create something new under conditions of extreme uncertainty. So what does that mean? It means this movement is just as relevant for teams inside a giant Fortune 500 company as it is for a nonprofit or even a government agency. Entrepreneurs are everywhere.
Okay, so how does this whole thing actually work? Well, the entire methodology is built on 5 core principles. Think of them as the foundation for a new way to manage all that chaos and uncertainty that comes with trying to build something new.
All right, so the whole method rests on these 5 core principles. Let's just walk through them. First up, entrepreneurs are everywhere. We just talked about that. This thinking applies in any organization, big or small. Second, entrepreneurship is management, but it's a special kind of management, one that's specifically geared for navigating that chaos. Third, and this is the big goal, validated learning. The whole point isn't just to make stuff, it's to learn what's actually worth building. And how do you do that? Well, that brings us to number 4, the engine of the whole system, the build, measure, learn feedback loop. It's simple. You turn an idea into a product, even a tiny one. You measure how real customers respond, and then you learn from that data whether to change course or keep going. And finally, number 5, innovation accounting. This is a totally new way to track progress that focuses on learning, not just on ego-boosting vanity metrics.
So, what does all this really mean for you? Look, this isn't just some theory for a business textbook. It's a call to action. It's an invitation for you to build better, smarter.
And at the end of the day, it all boils down to this one single, powerful question. How can we learn more quickly what works and discard what doesn't? That's the whole game. The goal is to accelerate our learning so we can stop wasting our precious time, our passion, and our skills on ideas that are just destined to fail.
And this leads to a really fundamental shift in how we see things. In today's world, the big question is no longer, can this be built? Because, let's be honest, we can build almost anything. The only question that truly matters is, should this be built? And this whole methodology gives us a framework to find that answer. So, the question is, what will you build?